Welcome back with a smiling face. Links to previous episodes are given in the video description, so don't forget to like, subscribe and share the video. Wolves of Shadowed Fate. Episode 5. Chapter 24-29. Raven's POV. I spent the next few weeks training. Stella is a machine, and we decided to go to one of the places she trained at and get help from her friend who was the owner of the gym to help train me. She said that he was a way of explaining everything that just makes it easier. Probably because he has been training people for so long, it was like second nature to him. He corrects me on my foot placement, and how to do the kicks and form correctly. He did have a great way of explaining it to us. He was about 35, and his wife helped him to train. She stayed with us and sparred with me even to help. She could tell that I was more hesitant, and worried about it, and she probably thought that I had been attacked and wanted to learn self-defense for my protection, and she wasn't too far off the mark. My dad even paid for private lessons for the 2 weekends before the ball. It was like he thought that I might need to defend myself, even though I highly doubted it. Stella would be with me that night, and so would my brothers. I doubt I will need to be up to speed so quickly, but I found out that I liked to train. I was just being sarcastic when I invite my former family and mate to come to the ball. They could not be stupid enough to think that it would be a good idea, or that I was serious about it. But Dad seemed to be aware of something that I wasn't, plus I enjoyed learning. I was good at it, a natural from what Paul and Janelle, the trainers, had told me. They had never seen anyone, not even Stella, take such a strong grasp of it from just a few training sessions. I have to say that I am much more confident now than I was. I was not looking for someone to protect me like I used to do. I knew that I would be able to protect myself if needed. Dad went with us, or Austin, to my training sessions. Austin even participated in some of them. Dad paid a lot of money for the one-on-ones, and they welcomed him to join us. Stella was so proud of me, and when I had the last training, my 10th one, I had a little graduation from it. I got to spar with Paul, Janelle, and Stella, and I managed to land a hit on each of them. I know it was because I still trained with Stella at the pack that I had gotten up to speed as quickly as I did. She was the reason for it, and Olivia had picked up a gift for Stella for me. I wanted her to know how much I loved and appreciated her for her taking me under her wing from inception. She didn't care because of who I was, she cared because I needed help, and she wanted to be my friend. She was my only true friend, and I wanted to show her how much I appreciated her. We all went out to eat after my graduation, and I have to say that loud noises or people just popping up around me don't scare me like they used to. Sometimes I catch myself getting into a stance to kick someone who just comes out of nowhere, and I have to just laugh it off when that happens. Better safe than sorry, and I see that I am holding my head up more for it. I ran here in the middle of June, and it is just after the 4th of July now, with the party coming up in 2 days this coming weekend. My days are busy, and things are moving very quickly right now, and I have never been happier. My morning starts early with training with Lainey. Stella joins me for that training. Then we grab a shower and breakfast. I have been trying my hand at a few things, and sewing is not my gift, and neither is any of the other hobby or craft things that I tried. It took a week, but I found baking makes me very happy. I love making desserts, and I lose track of time in the kitchen. Baking cakes, pies, and cookies are my favorites, but I can make meals too, and I was really proud of how much I enjoyed it. Stella has been taking me to the pool every day, as according to her, we don't get it for long, as it isn't warm enough here in Oregon for a long summer. She already had a tan, but I didn't, and she wanted me to have a healthy glow, and not be the pasty white that I had been from not getting out during the day. We had it down to an art now. I put the cakes in the ovens and set a timer for them. The ladies in the kitchen would always get them out for me to put the icing on later on. They actually appreciated the help, and a lot of people here loved my cakes. 6 of them would be put out for the pack. They kept one back in the kitchen, and one for mine and the Beta's family to eat. The cakes were allowed to cool and for me to decorate. So we hung out at the pool and swam, floated, and occasionally napped in the sun. We would eat lunch, and then I would decorate the cakes before Stella and I hit the forest to run. That was where I found the only thing that I was better at than Stella. I was really very fast, despite Emerald's size. She excelled at running, no wonder they couldn't catch me when I left the Silver Blade pack. Stella was really impressed with Emerald as she was a massive wolf, even larger than Stella and her wolf, Star. Stella kept telling me that she thought that I was still going to end up being a Luna, as not many females were my size. She firmly believed that I was destined to be in a large pack, and not a smaller one like Silver Blade, which had about 455 members. When a wolf my size was noted, they were indeed mated to an alpha and belonged to a very strong pack. I didn't care who my mate was, I just wanted them to love, and be faithful to me. I don't want another repeat of the mate I had been given again. I didn't dream of running a pack, I dreamed of loving, being loved, and having pups to shower love on. I am going to be a good mom, like Olivia is, to my pups. She is wonderful, and getting a hug and kiss on my cheek every night before bed, from both her and Dad, has been one of my favorite routines that I have started since I have been here. I had also gained about 8 pounds since I got here, even with all the exercise I was getting. My shape was changing for the better. I had strong arms and was very toned all over now. My dad made sure I didn't miss any meals, and he was really happy about how well I was doing now. I was flourishing under their care, and I could tell as the ball approached, it seemed like their hugs got longer before they kissed me good night. I wasn't going to complain about it, I felt that they just liked the fact that they could hug, and not get the mom or dad whine at being hugged like my brothers did. They both felt like they were too old for that kind of attention before bed, but it was truly the highlight of my day. I never thought about Silver Blade anymore. I didn't miss one person from that pack, they all disgust me. What kind of people bullied a kid? Just because the alpha allowed it? You were just going to do that clearly because you all can't think for yourself. That should have been a big red flag for anyone to see what had gone on in the pack for all those years. It didn't make sense that no one in the pack ever questioned the actions of grown adults, and their children, hurting another child. I preferred to just not give any of them a second thought. I have faith that the moon goddess was going to give them what they deserved, sooner or later. I didn't have to see it, I had faith in her. Olivia was concerned about the possibility of Silver Blade coming here for the ball. I was pretty sure that they would not have the nerve to show their faces around here, and I was sorry that I even said the words. I was wrong, I did it to toss it in their faces that I was going to do so much better with my new family than I ever did at Silver Blade. I just did it because I was positive that until Reagan saw it for herself, she would never stop believing that she had won. She didn't, she cheated trying to win, by stacking the deck and ended up getting caught. I cannot believe that she thought that it was going to work out for her. After seeing the interaction between them when I rejected him, I know for a fact that she and Justin are not living happily ever after. I am both excited and nervous about the ball. I have gone to get some dance classes in the city with Stella, and the guys went with us. All 3 of them, Carter, Austin, and Joshua went because the older 2 believed that they might find their mates at the ball as well. They want to be polished and charming for their mates, and I thought that it was cute. I have never been to a dance, and I needed to practice dancing in my heels. Amazingly enough, all the MMA and Krav Maga training that I was getting, actually helped me with core strength and made it easier for me to wear the heels. I have taken a class in each pair of heels with Austin, or Joshua as my partner. That was weird too, but he didn't want to dance with his sister. Carter and Austin traded out dancing with Stella. Lainey went to at least half the classes with us, as she was 23, and had not met her mate yet. She was hopeful as well at finding him at the ball. The days went by faster and faster as we got closer to the ball, but I was as happier than I have ever been. I could live out the rest of my days doing exactly what I was doing with my time. I have found hobbies that I really enjoyed, and I could not imagine myself getting any happier. Justin had kind of spoiled my excitement at finding my second chance mate. I have some deep-rooted trust issues that I am dealing with, but I am told that is to be expected. I knew better than to trust people in that pack after what Justin did. I just wasn't interested in meeting a lot of new people or making new friends. Other than my family, and the Beta family, the few ladies that I enjoy cooking with, I am perfectly content with where I am right now. I don't want to overwhelm myself, and there is no rush to do any more than what I was already doing. I have a full schedule, that I really enjoy. I am okay with waiting like a year or so, to get extra time with my family, before I want to try for my second chance mate. I was 18, and as far as I was concerned I had plenty of time, and some work to get through before I was going to be over what all I had been put through. My dad and Olivia have been the best at helping me with the baggage that I have carried. I have gone to family counseling with my parents and brothers, and one-on-one for me to be able to speak just by myself. I didn't realize how much pent-up anger and frustration I had inside me. I thought I was fine, only to find out that my anger was slowly poisoning me, and I wasn't going to let it consume me. I was progressing on my own time, and I will say that it brought me and my newly found family a lot closer together. I caught Dad and Olivia looking at me smiling like they were trying to get my face memorized. They have commissioned a painting to be done on the day of the ball after we are all dressed up for the event. They wanted us to stand on one of the curved stairwells of the newly built event center to get a picture of all of us. Olivia said we will do it after we all get ready for the ball before we let the guests into the new event center that they had built. They needed a bigger area, and it was just completed at the end of last week. That is where we will be having our pictures taken, and she and Dad will select their favorite photo to have the painting made from. The place looked great. It has a seating area both upstairs and downstairs, a bar upstairs, and 2 downstairs, and an overlook to the dance floor upstairs. With a wraparound half wall, people can stand up there and watch people either dancing, or for a ceremony, local alpha meetings, or training sessions. It is a multi-purpose venue, and it was beautiful. It has 2 curved staircases going down to the bottom floor. It is a focal point as you enter the double doors to the space. They had designed it to be both beautiful and functional, to work for whatever ceremony was being done there. Olivia had wanted the original painting of just the 4 of them in the entryway replaced, so the whole family is represented. The old painting currently hanging in the entry to the pack house will go somewhere else and will be replaced with this new one. I love how Olivia includes me in so many things, and the best part is that she and I are very close, and I love her as much as I love my dad. I trust in them both to do the right thing for me, and I know that I will start calling her mom any day now. I was uncomfortable with it at first as I felt like it would upset my brothers, like I was trying to take their mom from them, but they are both encouraging me to do it. Austin even teased me and said, "Raven, don't wait for the party to do it, or you are totally going to mess mom's makeup up. She will look like a raccoon, and no one wants that before an important party." Carter laughed at what Austin had said and then agreed with him. He was right, I needed to not do it that night. Maybe sometime after that, I don't want to force it, I want it to be natural and right. Olivia gave me so much love, I did already think of her as my mother already, I just haven't said the word out loud to her yet. I know it will mean as much to her as it does to me when I finally do get there. I know that deep down inside me that sometimes I actually hope that my former parents, and I am using that term very loosely, come to the party. I really hope that Reagan has the nerve to actually show up too. I don't want to see Justin, I am finally in a good place, and I don't know how I am going to feel about it if he does come. I don't have anyone I am interested in, and I don't have a second chance mate yet, so the odds of me being upset at seeing him are greatly increased. I had a crush on him for the last 2 years before I found out he was my mate almost a month ago. Oddly enough, the last 3.5 weeks have been easier on me. My family's love and support, the Beta family's love and support have gotten me to where I am right now, and I have changed in more than a few ways from the girl I was. I was happier today than I have ever been in my life. I feel a little guilty as I secretly prayed for Reagan to come here and try to start something. I can't help myself, and I can't stop myself from visualizing her giving me a hard time, and then trying to hurt, or shove me. I wanted her to take a shot. I know in my heart that I hope that she does. That she does it in front of a crowd of people, and then I show her that her reign of terror she had me under, no longer applies anymore. That whatever she ends up doing to me, I will repay her twofold. I feel a little guilty about it, as I know this party is for me, for my parents to introduce me to their friends and allies as their daughter. I don't want to cause a scene or a mess here in the new place. But I will not allow Reagan to get under my skin again. Never again, I refuse to acknowledge that we share a mother anymore. As far as I am concerned, I am with my parents. Cassandra was just a vessel for me to get here. She never loved me, she never cared for me, and she never lifted a manicured finger to stop what she saw being done to me on a daily basis. I tried to be the best daughter I could be to them at Silver Blade. I wasn't disruptive, I obeyed all they told me. I didn't do anything that would cause a problem even with Reagan, and I had to deal with a lot of crap on her end of it. I kept my head down and tried to make them love me by being the best daughter that I could be. I never realized that they were incapable of doing that, and all because of mistakes and choices that they made. I hope they come here for the party. I hope they see me living my very best life. I hope that the sight of me enjoying myself, laughing, and dancing as I am introduced into society by my family, who love me, pisses them all off. I hope Reagan sees all this and realizes that maybe she should have spent her life trying to be a better she-wolf, than trying to steal everything away from me. It won't stop me from asking her, how is it working out for you now? Because I am going to make sure to tell her that it sure as hell worked out for me. Chapter 25 Reagan's POV. The ball is tomorrow, and I am not as excited about going, as I was a few weeks ago. Back then I had ruined her life, but in just over 2 short weeks, it turns out that mine is the one that is ruined. In my hurry to make sure that I found my mate first, I decided to take the man who was supposed to be hers. It was brilliant, both Dad and I thought so. I would find mine first and take Justin away from her, which served both purposes. I had always thought Justin was cute, but back in school he never gave me any attention, and on the 2 occasions I did approach him, he very politely told me that he was waiting on his mate. It was his loss back then, and I moved on to the next guy. I knew that I was on a timeline and that if she actually managed to find her mate, and the pack knew she had, I could lose Silver Blade, and that was never going to be an option for me. It was my birthright, simply because she was not my father's child. But according to werewolf law, as firstborn, it was supposed to go to her. I found out about the whole scandal at 16 when Dad brought me to his office and told me what had happened. I was shocked. I mean, she didn't look like Dad, but she had Mom's face. We shared some facial features, like our high cheekbones, Mom's nose and eye shape. I had Dad's eye color, and our maternal grandfather had black hair, but I had no idea where she got her eye color from. Even with a bare face, those piercing green eyes were stunning. It was the only thing about her that really ever stood out for me. I envied nothing else of hers until the meeting with Dad. After he told me what had happened, I realized that Raven's dad was strong. His pack was much larger than ours, and he was much richer than we were too. That made me angry. How did that happen? How did she deserve that? But I realized that if Mom had stayed with Alpha Cole, I would not have existed. So I was okay with what she had done. Dad still has a lot of money, but he is more careful about spending it these days. He refused to let me get the car I wanted and made me pick a much cheaper one, but he made sure that I got everything that I had wanted other than that. I will make do though. After I get to be the Luna, I will get my dream car then, and be blissfully happy. Or at least that is what I thought. At first, I really thought that Justin was just mad at me and that when he calmed down he would go back to normal. I mean, we had been sleeping together for months, and we had a lot of fun doing it. I failed to take into account how odd he was acting after Raven fell out of that tree. I saw him touch her, and I knew he felt the tingles. I wasn't worried though because he had decided to accept me, and he had already signed the contract. It was a source of embarrassment to him. I could hear it in his voice that night that he had found out that she was his mate. The shame he felt at getting her, and I knew that she could tell the same as I did, that in his opinion, that she was not worth battling the pack to claim. Neither of us knew she was there. We were in an area that was studiously avoided, which made it the perfect place to go and hook up. I honestly wished that we had just stayed in my room like we normally did. None of this would have happened. Raven would still be here, rejected, and not causing a problem. Then sometime after I took over as Luna, Raven would end up disappearing, gone for good. It had all fallen apart that night. His touching her made him want her, enough to claim her, and that couldn't happen. So her running away from Silver Blade was the best thing that could have happened. I honestly thought that when she trespassed over there that would be the end of my sister, yet they didn't hurt her. In fact, quite the opposite, they stood up to defend and protect her, even not knowing who she was, but it seemed like their beta did. Even with me knowing Raven's story, I also knew that they didn't allow people to come onto their land, not without a reason to be there. Until she showed up to reject Justin, I honestly thought that Raven might be killed by the Bloodwalker pack. Now it seems like she will be taking it over, as the firstborn child of Alpha Cole. That morning was the start of a really bad day for me. I scented a musky, masculine scent as soon as I approached the gate. My eyes were immediately drawn to him, and my stomach dropped. My second chance mate was here, and he knew what I had done. He knew that I had betrayed him, and in hearing what Justin had admitted to Raven, he knew that I had even gone so far as to force him to mark me. It really looked bad, and I could see the disgust all over his handsome face. I wanted my mate. He was gorgeous to me with his black hair and green eyes. He was strong, even stronger than Justin. I wanted to tell him that my dad forced me to do it, but I knew that Dad would point out my lie in it. This whole thing had been my idea since he told me that he suspected that Justin was Raven's mate. I felt much more connected to him than I was to my first mate. I had been sleeping with my first mate for a year, off and on, drawn to him for an unknown reason, until I turned 18. The S*X we had after that was the best I had experienced, but I had already had Dad put the contract together, and Justin was hotter than my mate was. So even though it was painful and sad, I rejected Marco and he ended up leaving the pack after he found his second chance mate. It hurt when he left, but I knew as soon as I looked into my second chance mate's eyes, that this rejection was going to hurt me so much more than the first one had. This bond was much stronger, and I think it was because he was supposed to be the one for me. All through the conversation, I kept feeling his eyes on me as I tried to look anywhere else but at him. I didn't want to say that in order to hurt or kill his new sister, I willingly went to those extremes. I already knew that he cared for her, and that would have gone over even worse to hear me say that. But from the expression on his face, I knew that he already suspected that was my goal in getting Justin to mark me, while still bound to her. I wanted to beg him not to reject me, that we could figure out a way to get me and Justin unbound, but I doubted that could even happen. We were both fully mated and marked, and the rumors of it would cause shame and judgment to Silver Blade. We would never live it down. My dad would kill me himself for doing it. I was drawn to my mate like an invisible rope was pulling me to him. I wanted him, more than I have ever wanted anyone in my life. The worst part was that I knew that it was going to hurt me a lot more than when I rejected Marco, and I kept having to wait for it to happen. The agonizing slow wait for the tremendous pain that I knew was heading my way. It was nerve-wracking, and this was all Raven's fault. If she hadn't run over there, I would have never met him when he came with her to get the rejection complete. I was trying to figure out a way to talk to him privately, and convince him to give me a chance before he rejected me. I was okay with switching him and Justin out if he was okay with it. We just needed to figure out a way to get it done. I just needed time to contact an elder to see if his marking me would erase Justin's mark on me. The other problem was Raven had just rejected Justin, so she couldn't just mark him to erase my mark. That was why it was all her fault. If she hadn't been so gung-ho on being petty to him and rejecting him for one little mistake, she could have worked this out with him. I know she had a crush on him, the mate bond had to have still been there. I mean, technically his foot only slipped with me, he hadn't slept with anyone else. She shouldn't have been so heartless to him, he was her mate, and she should have given him another chance. I would have loved her for the situation that I was now in. I still feel a residual burning feeling in my heart from losing Carter. He was supposed to be mine, and because Raven was angry at Justin, I had to lose my mate forever. The day it happened I was so numb I wasn't able to do anything. I was just in a state of shock. The next few days, I just went through the motions, and now a little over 2 weeks later I can see how my life will truly be, absolutely miserable. For the last 3 days all Justin does at me is glare, and occasionally answer the questions I give him. He doesn't respond to me saying good morning, or good night. Oh, and he refuses to sleep in the same bed as me. As far as he is concerned, he is fulfilling his side of the contract. He actually read through it, and he seemed surprised that it so heavily favored the Sullivan family. Who did he think it was going to favor? That was a dumb assumption on his part. But he managed to find some loopholes in it. I found that out when I got a knock on my door 10 minutes ago. Good morning, Justin, I told him, even though I didn't feel like greeting him. You can stop with any extra greetings, or comments to me. I do not want to interact with you, Reagan, the less I can, the better, Justin tells me as he brushes by me to enter my room. Why are you angry all of a sudden? I asked him, frowning at his bad attitude so early in the morning. No need to exchange pleasantries, Reagan. We aren't friends. Also, it isn't all of a sudden, Reagan. Ever since I touched Raven I knew that I wanted to accept her as my true mate after feeling our bond. You knew that, so you and your dad forced me to come back here after I left to try to get Raven back. You threatened my family, so I had to return. But I just wanted to set a few things straight between us, Justin told me, and this is making me frown more. There is no room for conditions or allowances in the contract, so what is he trying to pull? What is it that you want? I asked, thinking that it was going to be a new vehicle or a high-dollar item. I want you to know that I refuse to sleep with you again. It isn't in the contract, neither is having children. Your coming onto me made me betray my mate. I wanted her, I needed her, and you forced me to lose her. You can't sugarcoat it. This was no one's fault but yours and Alpha Graham's, as this is what you wanted. The only feeling I have for you now is hate. I will stay with you as a figurehead, an alpha to this pack, but that is it. I am going to find a way to keep the pain of your upcoming betrayals from hurting me so much. I know you, so I am fully aware that you will find others to sleep with. I knew that it would be a matter of time before you did it anyway. I am going to get a witch to block my bond with you. I already know that in the long run, this will help me get past the pain that I know is coming. You are the worst type of person, and I cannot love you, no matter what you do. This relationship is not going to play out like you imagined it would. We won't have feelings for each other. I will never love you, or have pups with you. If I could leave here with my family I would, as just the sound of your voice now disgusts me. I just want you to know that all your plans for us do not exist. We are only together on paper. I refuse to be with you any other way, Justin tells me, and my knees almost gave out on me. I am already hurt from losing Carter, and now Justin is mad. Can I not be happy too? Are you serious right now, Justin? I don't think you are right about that. My father wrote it, and he is a master at contracts. I think you might have missed something. I will speak to Dad and read it myself to see, because that cannot possibly be right. I think that you are incorrect about the requirements that are included in it. I am pretty sure that pups were included in it. If not, they should have been. Either way, I will bear your pup, as we will need an heir for Silver Blade. So, I am sorry that you are mad. I lost my mate too, Justin. I am hurt too, but we just need to go through this together. I like you, and I am sure that I could end up loving you one day. We should be comforting each other, not hating each other, I told him. I refused to beg, but he was on board with him being alpha. Now that we are in the middle of it, he acts like I made him sign the contract, when that was all on him. I refuse to feel guilty about it. I just presented him with an opportunity and warned him of who his potential mate might be. He should have been smart enough to tell me that he wanted to see if she actually was his mate before signing it. That would have been the smart thing to do. Dad and I could have been wrong in our suspicions. Dad was pretty sure of it, but I wasn't. I had only seen her stealing occasional glances at him. I just thought she had a crush or some interest in him. I didn't wait for my mate, and she might not have wanted to wait either. Regardless, it was all on him. He made a knee-jerk reaction to not wanting to get stuck with Raven. He traded his mate for a title, and he is still getting what he wanted out of it. I am sorry he is so upset about hurting her by taking me as a chosen mate, but it sure seemed like she bounced back quickly at the gate. He took it much worse than her, and I have to wonder why? The way she stood her ground and told us all what she really thought of us, was a first for her. It really pissed me off that she got the better of me and made me look like an IT at the gate. I have been practicing my comebacks now. She won't make me look stupid at the ball tomorrow night. I am going to show Justin that he still has a better sister. Maybe one day I will get another chance, Reagan. I can only pray that the goddess will forgive me one day and give me a second chance, mate. I assure you if that happens, I won't be losing her. I will drop you faster than you can take a breath to stop me. I messed up. It is on me, the bulk of this. I let all of the bad things that I had heard about Raven from the pack help make my decision for me. But that goes back to you and your parents too. The Alpha family allowed her to be picked on and hurt. I don't know how you all can hold your head up in pride knowing what all you did to an innocent girl. You are the worst member of the family, Reagan. I was there at the bridge 4 years ago, I saw the whole thing. I never told you, as I knew what would happen to me if I had. Everyone knew that your father would believe you, and your version of it. I was younger and naive about the inner workings of the pack. I don't want to be a part of this pack anymore. I will stay, for the time frame stated in the contract. Your dad only put a time frame of 5 years in it. I guess he thought that I would decide to stay with you after that. But he was wrong, so I am warning you now. You had better stop all your planning, and all your efforts to try to hurt Raven. Because if you don't, I will make sure that all the wrongdoing that you have managed to dodge through the years, will be brought to light. I will make sure that you get what is coming to you. I make that promise to you now, listen to me and leave her alone, from now on, or you will be the one to suffer for it. Justin tells me, and I can't believe what he is saying to me. He is threatening me with the council. How dare he? I am in charge of him, not the other way around. I want to scream in fury at him, but I need to remain calm until I see what the contract actually stated. I will go and speak with Dad about it, and then we can decide to go from there, and what my next step needs to be. I wanted to go to Bloodwalker for the ball with Justin and make sure that we are looking gorgeous together. I made sure to get a strapless dress so I can proudly bear his mark, and upset Raven, but his letting me that he will not go along and won't play the part is causing me some concern. My dreams of making her green with envy are fading fast now. I can see what is going to happen as clearly as if I were watching a movie. He is still pining for her, it is Raven that he still loves. I toy with the idea of not going, but I know that would bring her joy, and I can't allow that. I need to go, and I will play the part for us, of the happy couple. I got him, she lost him, and I bear his mark, and potentially his children. I could be pregnant already from the night he marked me. We had S*X twice that night and again the following morning. I can still make this play out in my favor. I refuse for her to think that I am lesser than her in any way. We will go to the ball no matter how he feels about it, and we will dance and act like a loving couple. He has to at least do that. I know that he was aware of that fact. I can wear him down on the rest of it later. Tomorrow I will make sure that Raven knows that she is still the twin that wasn't wanted. I just need to not make it as obvious as I was going to originally. I have to make sure that her introduction as the daughter of the Bloodwalker pack doesn't go as well as they all wanted it to. Chapter 26 Raven's POV. It is the night of the ball, and I have to admit that I am nervous. I am really thankful that my brothers are going to be with me, especially on the stairs. I was worried that I would trip, on my dress or shoes, and tumble down the stairs, landing in a heap at the bottom. In my nightmare, people even saw my underwear when I landed, and I was mortified. Stella thought that my dream was just my mind stressing about it. But in my heart, I believed that it was actually a premonition. I have been massaged, buffed, and scrubbed, and now at 430, the ladies are about to do my hair and makeup. The things earlier were very nice. I felt relaxed, but with this new unknown, I was getting anxious again. My parents had asked me to the office earlier today, and I saw my brothers were there as well. I saw two gifts on the desk, and as my brothers were sitting on the couch and Olivia was in one of the chairs in front of his desk, I slid into the other chair after shutting the door. Olivia and I wanted to get you something special from us. I thought it was a great idea, and when the boys heard about it, they wanted to get you something special too. We know it is not your birthday, but we missed so many of them, and we wanted you to know how much we love you. We also wanted you to have something special from us as well. That way you will have this to wear for tonight when we introduce you, Dad said and smiled at me. This one is from us, Dad said as he handed the bigger box over to me. I opened it to see a large ruby surrounded by diamonds. The diamonds flashed in the light and the blood red stone was the same color as our pack emblem. There was a pair of matching earrings with it. I had gotten my ears pierced at the mall, and I was excited about getting to wear these tonight. My ears had already healed up, and I have been wearing the diamond solitaires that Dad and Olivia had bought me last week ever since. I loved them even though I really didn't want them to spend a lot of money on me. I felt like I was getting spoiled, but I was so thankful for my family loving me enough that they actually wanted to give me gifts. This one is from us, Carter said to me, and I opened the second box to see my name spelled out in gold on a necklace. I loved it, and I couldn't wait to put it on. I will be wearing both necklaces tonight, as well as matching earrings. I got up and gave everyone a hug. It seemed like I wasn't the only one who was moved to tears. Olivia and Dad were struggling to hold them back, and I didn't know why they were so emotional today. Even at breakfast and lunch, they seemed to be really wanted to stay longer than usual. I guess it is just an emotional day with telling all their friends and allied packs about me. I know that they have been looking forward to doing it. I feel it is special as they want to claim me and tell everyone that I am a member of their family. Especially since my former family didn't want anyone to know that I was a member of their family. They went to a great extent to hide me away, and not recognize me. So this is a really big deal for me, as my family wants everyone to know that I am their daughter. I am now pretty excited about tonight as I am being celebrated. I feel cherished and accepted by my family. I put both necklaces on, with my name near my collarbones, and the ruby necklace resting just above my chest. I put the earrings on and head up to my room to change clothes into what Olivia told me to wear. I had seen others wearing makeup before and I already knew, sometimes they looked very nice and natural. I even liked that smoky eye look. Other times they looked like they were about to graduate from clown college with makeup that seemed like it was caked on and a half-inch thick. I didn't want to look like that. I wanted to look like myself, but better. Olivia was in here with us and giving them instructions. Amanda and Olivia were going to get their hair done first, while we get our makeup done, and then we switch over to the other chairs to trade out. Olivia was a great planner and had even reminded me to wear some shorts, and a button-down shirt so when I went to get dressed I didn't mess up my hair and makeup by pulling a shirt over my head. I can hear them talking and I just closed my eyes while the makeup artist works on me. It is actually kind of pleasant getting my makeup done, and when they are almost finished, they tell me to look up so they can finish my mascara. I do as instructed, and when they are finished I am sent over to get my hair done. The same lady that did Olivia's hair is doing mine, and she had given her the instructions for what to do to mine. It is the same lady who had cut and put some highlights in my hair 2 days ago. I had only received haircuts as I have grown up. Some were better than others, depending on who I got to do them. Some of them liked to not cut it straight across the back. They thought that my looking like that was even funnier than when they hit me, and as it was behind me I wouldn't know about it until I got to school. That worked for them until I was 13 years old. Then I started wearing it in a ponytail. The joke was on them then, even if it was slanted down to one side, and obviously a bad cut, it was much less noticeable. The one time the lady did my bangs like that when I was around 10, was also the last time I got my bangs cut. I never let them see me be upset about it, after that day. I always acted like I didn't notice it, because it is much worse if they see you cry about it. Then they knew they got to you. Then the teasing really kicks into high gear. It took months to grow my hair long enough to hide it in my ponytail. Those were some of the longest months of my life. I had to ask for barrettes to try to hide what they had done. But I was told that they were a want, not a need, by my father, I mean Alpha Graham. I think he had great pleasure in seeing my hair so messed up that summer. The lady doing my hair was super sweet. Her name was Jamie, and she was really excellent at her craft. We had gone to her show 2 days ago for my first cut and color. Olivia had her put some medium brown and some dark blonde in my hair. It showed off the curls that Jamie had put in my hair after she was done. My hair flowed down my shoulders and halfway down my back and it looked gorgeous. It was silky and so shiny. It seemed like it was more for a model than for me, but here it was, gorgeous, and I wanted to cry at how beautiful I felt with my hair looking like that. I felt like another person and was walking with pride when I came back from the appointment. Both my brothers and dad were very flattering to me about it that night at dinner. Stella and Amanda were with me, and they loved it. Even Beta Timothy and Joshua mentioned how nice my hair looked. I loved it too and wanted to have Jamie do my hair from now on. I felt so special after getting it done. Olivia said that it was a trial run and that my hair would be styled the same way for the ball. My hair came down in loose waves, and I agree. I think I will look my best that way too. Even without my dress, or makeup on, I felt beautiful. It was about 20 minutes after 5 when our hair was complete, and Stella and I headed into the changing room to get dressed. Olivia had us getting ready for the ball, in the private rooms on the second floor of the event center. She wanted our family to be the first ones to see us, right before we went to take out pictures. She wanted what I looked like to be a surprise for the guests and the pack members attending. I just went along with it, as I thought it was funny that she was so excited about it. After I got in my gold dress and sat down to put my heels on, I heard footsteps approach and I see Stella in her dress. She is beautiful in a sapphire blue gown, its deep color making her look stunning. Her long brown hair was pulled up in a sleek ponytail, making her face the star tonight. Her blue eyes were glowing, and she looked like a model. I loved the slit in her dress showing off her strong legs as she walked. I am praying that she meets her mate tonight too and that we still get to stay here at Bloodwalker together. I stood up and we head over to the mirrors so we can get our first look at ourselves tonight. Olivia had no mirrors in the hair and makeup stations so we wouldn't see ourselves until we were done and dressed for our pictures. We both gasped as we stared at our reflections in the mirror. We are stunning, I cannot believe what I look like. I see Stella's smirk as I gasped at my reflection, and I can tell that she had been working hard to control her excitement at how nice I looked. I am totally floored, I didn't know that I could look this nice either. I am glad that Olivia is getting our pictures done tonight. I don't know if I will ever look this good again. My slim frame is shown off in this sequined dress. It is catching the light and I step closer to look at myself in the mirror. My makeup looks flawless, and whatever she did made my eyes stand out as the focal feature of my face. My lips are in a kind of nude pink, I have never felt so beautiful before. I am worried less about people staring at me now. I am so happy that I feel like crying, and Olivia and Amanda stepped up behind us to give us a hug. I know that she knew I was about to ruin my makeup and wanted to stop me before I did. You both look stunning, let's go meet with the photographer now. We will get out pictures done, and then you girls can get your pictures done too after the fact. I wanted to get both our family, and the Beta family's pictures taken, so we need to get going. It is 530, and I wanted us to be done before the guests are let in. A few have already arrived, but we asked that they stay in their vehicles until closer to 6 to give us a little time, Olivia said, and we headed down to get the pictures done. I was glad the makeup covered my cheeks as Dad and Beta Timothy started teasing me that they needed to act as my guards tonight to keep me away from the unmated males. But their good-natured teasing also helped to relax my nerves for the night. My brothers, though, both seemed very serious about running protection for me. We had a good time taking our family pictures and watching the Beta family take their pictures. It was fun, and the photographer was really good. Dad and Beta Timothy too won together, and then with their wives. My brothers and Joshua took some together, and then some of just my brothers, and then Stella and I took some. We took group shots as well, and then a few minutes to 6 we were finishing up with just the children in the picture, the 5 of us. Stella and I were in the front with Carter in the center and Joshua and Austin flanking him. Everything was fine until my brothers, and I went to walk up the stairs to wait for my introduction. My heel got caught in my dress, and I reached out to catch the railing to keep from falling, and Joshua caught me and pulled me to his chest to keep me from tumbling backward down the stairs. I looked up to thank him when a growl outside shook the door. I frowned, thinking that it was Justin trying to still claim me, but I didn't see Justin out there. There were about 40 people at the door, and they all seemed to be looking back toward a very big guy near the back of the line. I couldn't see his face though, and I quickly cleared my heel and left with my brothers, after thanking Joshua for keeping me from falling. I could see my dad and Beta Timothy heading for the door. It was still 5 minutes until 6, but they were going to start letting people in now. I am sure that Dad will clear up any problem that there was outside. I am sure it was a misunderstanding. I couldn't see how it could involve me anyway. I can tell that Carter was thinking about the growl, and I noticed that he was mind-linking Dad. About a minute later I felt him jerk in surprise and stopped at the top of the stairs to look back down at Dad, who nodded to him as if confirming something to Carter. I see Austin look at Carter with a frown and see his eyes glazing over to show that he was linking Carter. I felt his hand squeeze mine in comfort, and he gives me a gentle smile. It can't be that bad then, whatever it is. We all went to go use the restroom and grab a bottle of water from the bar. We had 20 minutes to burn up for now. I see Carter ask for an actual drink. I was surprised, as I knew that he wanted to be completely clear-headed, as he was actively looking for his mate tonight. Carter, are you okay? I know you can have a drink, we are 18, and on our land, but you seem upset. Did you get bad news? I asked him. Yes, I got bad news. Dad just told me that he allowed Reagan and Justin onto our land. They came with Alpha Graham and Luna Cassandra. I am quite sure that one or more of them are not here to celebrate you tonight. I don't want to see her, but Dad anticipated this and had 4 warriors here tonight to kind of shadow them. He knew that Reagan would be coming, so he has them dressed for the party. You don't have to worry, Lainey will be shadowing Reagan, and Charlie will have Justin. Reagan is evil to the bone, and I am quite sure she wanted to come here and give you a hard time. I don't want to see her. I may not have wanted her after all that she has done to you. My heart was still hurt by what she did, both to you and to me. I also don't want her messing up my chance to find my second chance mate. Sometimes misunderstandings arise if an ex is trying to keep you away from your mate because of jealousy. It happens much more than you think. This is going to be a long night, with her here. I promise you, Raven, this will be the only alcoholic drink that I drink tonight, Carter told me. I have been going back and forth on if I wanted them to be here, Carter. I did invite them, but it was more me tossing it in their face that I have moved on and moved up. I really didn't want to hear her annoying voice again, I told him. I was glad that within 5 days of my being here, Dad had the gap closed off between us and Silver Blade with the 10-foot fence. That gap was proof that Dad was waiting on me to come to him, and I am glad Emerald and I did. I can feel Emerald in my head getting excited. She is flustered and wants us to go downstairs already. Don't forget, Reagan and Justin are both down there. I can wait, Emerald. I really don't want to deal with whatever crap she or he wants to pull on us. Let alone the Alpha Graham, and Luna Cassandra. I have nothing at all to say to any of them, I linked her. They aren't the only ones down there, Raven. I am ready to go, she tells me, and I have to smile at her excitement. It is time to get ready to go down. We can head over towards the stairs, but we need to stay back a little as Dad and Olivia don't want anyone getting an early peek at you. For some reason they want every eye to be on you after they make the announcement. After they speak, we will approach the stairs and we will take you down. Don't worry about tripping, Austin and I have you. You look beautiful tonight, Raven. Just relax, we are all here for you. I think that it is going to be a very memorable night. We won't allow you to be harmed tonight. Carter tells me, and I take a deep breath. I am still nervous in the pit of my stomach, but I am excited as well. I know that I can trust my family, and the Beta family tonight. I trust Lainey and Charlie, the head trainers too. I am ready to go when I heard my father's voice booming across the room, and it went silent for him to speak. Both he and Olivia were so sweet with their words about me becoming a member of the family and being a long-lost child returning to the fold, and I am trying not to cry. Olivia and Stella both told me that it would ruin my makeup, so I looked at the ceiling, blinking back my tears. Austin squeezes my hand and smiles down at me as they go to introduce me. I hope this turns out to be a really good night. Chapter 27 Alpha Cole's POV. The night is upon us, and Raven looks stunning. Olivia has outdone herself as the whole place looks wonderful. We have stayed quiet the last 2 weeks as we didn't want Raven to worry or be concerned about leaving us. I know that she may be scared after what that jerk Justin did to her, but not all men are willing to reject their true mates, just to get a title. There are plenty of great men out there, and my baby girl lucked out with getting one of them for her second chance mate. I admire him, and I am very good friends with his parents. As a matter of fact, their daughter, Simone, is a year older than Carter, and we used to joke that we would love to end up related if our children became mates. We just never suspected that the children we thought would be together as mates, were the wrong ones from who we originally believed. Carter and Simone were fast friends from the moment they met as young children, at 3 and 4 years old. They enjoyed playing and hanging out with each other. When we saw how well they bonded, I thought, no wait, let me clarify, we all thought that we would find out that when they were old enough, we would find out that they were mates. I guess not, since we were all at the mall and Carter and Simone didn't scent each other. I am disappointed but glad that Brandon was my daughter's second chance mate. I remember the call we received from him a little over 2 weeks ago. Flashback: I was just starting my paperwork after we got back to the pack when Olivia entered my office with a big mug of coffee for me. She knows that the paperwork can get a little boring, and I like to stay focused, especially when I have to wade through a lot of it. I gave her a smile and put my mug down and motioned to her to come to sit with me for a minute. I wanted to give her a hug and a kiss. I was so thankful that Olivia accepted Raven from the first time she saw her. I know that Amanda had given her a heads up on some things that she had noticed about Raven and some things that Stella had mentioned to Amanda. Olivia felt like she was a kindred spirit to Raven. She knew the intense pain of your mate deceiving and betraying you, when they decided that they wanted another she-wolf more than they wanted their true mate. It really didn't even matter what the reasoning for it actually was, it didn't change the amount of heartbreak that it caused the innocent victim. Olivia is fine now because as soon as we met, we knew we were mates. But I still remember how sad she looked the night that I met her at the winter ball. Sitting alone at her table, not dancing, not interacting with anyone. Just keeping her head down, physically there, but keeping herself apart from the others. Because she was still upset about what all she had gone through. It is hard to get back on the horse, to trust, to have faith in another. For you to believe that when you meet your second chance mate, they will be the right mate for you. Especially when your first mate was truly a horrible person. It makes you fear who you will actually be getting for the next one. Will they be horrible too? Or will you get the mate of your dreams? It was hard on her what she went through, and for me as well, after what our original mates had done. As soon as I caught her scent, I strode across the room quickly as I was not going to lose this precious she-wolf. I was taking no chances with my second chance mate, I could not lose her. I would get no other chances for mates if I did. I remember her looking up as she caught my scent the moment I stopped across from her at her table. I couldn't wait to get my first look at my gorgeous mate. What I feel for Olivia blew what I had felt for Cassandra right out of the water. It was double the feelings and emotions that I felt for my first mate, and I wanted to claim Olivia right then and there. I get pulled out of my memories by Olivia grinning at me as she taps me lightly on my chest, and I heard my cell phone ringing. I wonder how long I was mesmerized looking at my mate currently sitting in my lap. I was so caught up in my memories. Alpha Cole, I answered my phone and then leaned forward to give Olivia a quick kiss. I had answered it on speaker so I could just set it back down on the desk to listen while I gave my mate quiet little kisses. It was rare for us to get some time alone together, and I was not going to lose this precious opportunity. Alpha Cole, this is Alpha Brandon Adams, of the Black Adder Pack. Are you free to speak for a little while? I have something important that I need to discuss with you, Brandon said to me. Of course, I am free. What can I help you with? I asked him as Olivia got up to leave as it was business. I grabbed her hand and shook my head to tell her she was not leaving and motioned for her to sit back down on my lap when the next words we heard stopped her in her tracks. I believe that your daughter is my mate, sir. I saw you all at the mall today, as I needed a new tuxedo for the ball, and took Simone to get her dress. I scented my mate on the women's side of the store when I went to go meet back up with my sister. I caught the scent again in another store for, underclothes, and again at a shoe store, which is when I finally saw her, and you. She is beautiful with long dark hair, but I didn't get to see her face just yet, Brandon told me. If you didn't see her face, how do you know that she is beautiful? I couldn't help teasing the young alpha. I can feel it. The pull to come over and introduce myself was very strong. I just didn't want to interrupt. Also, my parents had mentioned to me 2 days ago when we got the invitation, that this was indeed a special circumstance and to be very careful with your daughter. My mother had a dream from the moon goddess that your daughter was special to our pack, we just didn't know why. Mom and Dad left the day after the invitation came, and were going to come by to speak to you about it, but I guess I found out why she was special to our pack on my own. Brandon told me, and I had forgotten that his mom has had visions before. Which was amazing to me, as she had not even seen my daughter yet, but knew that we needed to deal with her gently because she was special. I believed him, and I was glad that my daughter had received a good man as her mate. He didn't have to call me. He could have just walked up to us, and laid claim to her right then. I appreciate the call, Brandon. I know that you didn't have to wait, you could have just claimed her there in the store, you didn't have to wait until you see her at the ball. But I am glad you notified me. I would like to speak to you in person before you approach her at the ball. There are some things that you need to know before I introduce you to. She has had some hardships, and I want you to come with me so she will know that I support your union and you being her mate. It will help you out in the long run, believe me. You could have stepped up and introduced yourself though. You must have been the reason for her to check out the area at the shoe store and at the food court, right Brandon? I asked him. I know how hard it is to not be around your mate. It feels like it is killing you. I did, sir, but as happy as she was with being with you and your family, I could tell that she was very sad. It poured off of her, and I didn't want to cause her any more grief than she was already feeling. I respect you, Alpha Cole, and I wanted you to know my intentions. I also had a second thing that I wanted to mention to you as well. I have a Schwolf in my pack, my Gamma's daughter, Cheryl, who has been causing me problems. She, and her father, want me to pick her as a chosen mate to be my Luna. I rejected that idea, as I want my true mate. I was happy I have found my mate, and I am getting my pack ready for her to arrive. These 2 weeks will allow me to get that done. I fully intend to have this settled before I bring your daughter here, to the Blackadder pack, Brandon said, and we both froze. Neither of us wants Raven to have to keep struggling all her life, and most certainly not have to fight for her mate again. Brandon, this is Luna Olivia, sorry for interrupting your conversation with Cole. Are you going to be able to sort this out before the ball? Our daughter has been through enough in her short life. We would like to discuss that with you, in person, not over the phone. But I don't want her to have to deal with any more devious girls if I can avoid it. We will work on helping her on our end, to get her ready to be able to leave here and feel safe there. That way we won't worry about her, well, not as much as we would have. She is so precious to us, and we don't want her hurt. Do you really think that you will be able to get this situation handled before the ball? Olivia asked Brandon, and truthfully I wanted to know the answer too. Yes, I promise, Luna Olivia. I want my mate to be safe here too. I will get it taken care of the day my parents return from their trip. I will send them what I have and tell them what my plan is to deal with this problem. I will be calling them next and then informing my brother, as he will be the last one to hear about it. I just wanted to speak with you first, because we are allies, and I have a lot of respect for you, Alpha Cole, even before I found out that you were the father of my mate. I know that it will be hard to wait for her, but I plan on trying to leave my mate alone, until the night of the ball. I can't promise you that I will make it that long, but I plan on respecting your wishes, sir. I cannot wait to get to meet my mate, but if I were to come here early, I will call to notify you of it before I arrive, Brandon tells me. I know that he is telling me the truth. I hear the want and need for his mate coming through my phone. The goddess has blessed Raven with this mate. He and his family are honorable people. I will be glad for our packs to be joined together. I am still very good friends with his parents, the former Alpha Jackson Adams, and former Luna, Angie Adams. If you are sure of her safety, then I give you my blessing on your upcoming union. I look forward to seeing you at the ball, young Alpha. I am glad that our daughter has such a loving mate. You gave her what she needed, and I know how hard it is to wait for your mate once you have found them. I will keep her safe here until you arrive to take her back. I will make accommodations for your whole family to stay here after the ball, so she can pack up and leave with you the next day. Is that acceptable for you and your family? I asked Brandon. Yes, sir. Thank you so much. I will tell them so they can pack for overnight. I will see you all then, Brandon said, and the call dropped. We sat there stunned for some time. We just got her, and now she will be leaving us. We know that it is in the goddess's time, but I was really wanting some more time, like a year with her here at Bloodwalker. I just have to be thankful that first of all, he is a good man, and second that they will be fairly close to our pack. It is basically a 40-minute trip, well it is with my driving. Olivia rubbed my back, as she was deep in thought, making plans for what we needed to do for Raven, but knew that I needed comfort. I know how attached she is to Raven, and that she is hurting too. But her saying our daughter to Brandon on the phone made my heart explode with joy. I know my mate loves Raven, but that was wonderful hearing her say our daughter on the call. Flashback ends. Olivia continued to rub my back while we made plans. We had made some plans the day after we met her, but now we had to step them up and condense them into the next 2 weeks. We both originally thought that we had a year to get it done in. We cannot send our daughter off to where she might not be safe, and not know how to defend herself. So we got with Stella, who was glad to take her to be trained. I also got with Lainey and Charlie to also train her here, and I stepped in occasionally to add my opinions too. I told them all not to go easy on her, that she had to learn exactly how to protect herself. They didn't go easy on her, but my Raven turned out to be a natural fighter. She absorbed all the instructions that she got and applied them. She is calm and level-headed while fighting, making sure she was few steps ahead of her opponents. I am so proud of her, and all that she has accomplished in such a short time shows just what a powerhouse she and Emerald are. They are going to give Brandon a great deal of additional strength, and Raven is really going to flourish with her mate. We kept the news to ourselves. Her brothers would be upset at her leaving, but she has a mate, and she belongs with him. Once they meet their mates they will understand. It is almost unbelievable that he is nice enough to allow her to stay with us. I know that it is only because we just got her back, and he knows that I need time with her too. Even with her being so close, every time we think about it we tear up. Stella is going to be heartbroken at Raven leaving her. I am glad the school year is over now, so if Stella wanted to, she could go with Raven for a month, get her settled in, and continue to train her. If that girl even thinks about hurting my daughter, I will show her the true error of her ways. So we loaded Raven up with potential hobbies, training, dance lessons, just to make sure that when she leaves here, that she will be a lean mean fighting machine, cooking machine, and dancing machine. I just wanted my daughter to be happy, and loved. I can tell from the sadness in his voice that he was missing her and wanted her there. That is all Raven wanted, and I am so glad her prayers were answered this time around. I will leave nothing to chance with this party. The stakes are high, as I am quite sure that there is more to this story than what Brandon said. I will make sure that the security the night of the ball was tight. I will make sure that Stella, the boys, or Joshua, were with Raven the whole night. I will tell all 3 of them what had happened, and that Raven had met her mate, but didn't know it yet. They all need to keep quiet about it, which is why I am telling them all right before the party. That way her brothers know to protect her. I want her to be safe, and I will have extra security for the night. I will make sure that they dress for the event, and that they know to keep Raven safe from Regan. I will make sure that there is a security detail that stays with Regan and her family, as well as whoever this other girl from Blackadder. I just got my daughter back. I want grand pups, and I will not be letting any clowning, and jealous wolves, get in the way of it. No matter what I needed to do to get this done, Raven will be ready to take on Regan, or this other girl, by the time the ball rolls around. Chapter 28 Brandon's POV. I have been making plans for weeks as I needed to get my pack straight, so they can receive their new Luna. We are almost there, as the ball is tomorrow. It seems like a month has gone by, but I am ready to claim my prize, my gift, my beautiful mate. I have never seen my family so excited for anything before as I was when I called my parents on their cell to tell them. I had already contacted Alpha Cole and spoke with him and Luna Olivia the same day I sent it her. He didn't mention anything else other than that he wanted to speak to me before I approached her to claim her, and I told him that I would try my best, and I will. But after waiting almost 3 weeks now to touch my mate, I knew it would be an almost impossible feat. Our packs were only separated by the human city. I was less than an hour by car away from his pack. I felt bad for them, but I wanted my mate so bad that I felt that I was about to go mad with want for her. I felt drawn to go and claim her now, needing to smell her intoxicating scent that I find myself craving at all hours of the day or night. The only thing that had stopped me was knowing that I needed to get a lot done before she could come here. She needs to be safe in her home, so basically, I needed to deal with Cheryl. I didn't trust Silas, or Cheryl, at all anymore, and I didn't want them to be able to cause her problems once she arrived. Crew and Simone were ecstatic about me finding my mate and were willing to help me in whatever way I needed them to. Simone was actually angry that I didn't tell her while we were still at the mall when I knew. Once I realized who she was, I knew that I had some time before the ball arrived. I couldn't take that extra time away from her or the walkers. As an ally, I knew that she had just arrived in their pack, but I still reached out to advise them that she was my mate. I felt in my heart that it needed to be done and just followed them until I watched my mate leave, with Alpha Cole and his family. I had told Simone about finding my mate in the car on the way back to Blackadder Pack, and the squeal she let out was so loud I almost swerved off the road. She feels so happy that her pushing me to take her to the mall today resulted in me finding my mate. Simone feels like she introduced us, in a small way, by pushing me to do with her that day. She is the most excited about me finding my mate, next to my mother. We had a meeting in the pack 5 days ago, with Cheryl invited to join it as well. She technically doesn't have a rank, but as she was the reason for the meeting, I wanted her there. A special meeting was held yesterday, the afternoon my parents returned from their trip. I had shown them what I had as far as proof against her in an email I sent them the day I found my mate. They were both very upset at her underhanded way of messing things up for our pack. She is trying to force my hand as she knows how much I care for my pack. She knows that I listen to them and want them to be happy with how I am running everything. I wanted to be just as efficient and dutiful for our pack, and I had been. The only exceptions were the adjustments that had been made to the orders and schedules. The transition had otherwise been flawless. The pack and my family are both very important to me. After my parents found out that Cheryl had hacked in again and changed the order for our groceries to mess things up, Mom and Dad were furious. They were also upset at her rescheduling the kitchen ladies yet again. This underhandedness has got to end now. I am only a short time away from claiming my mate. I won't allow them to jeopardize any part of my claiming her away from me. I am not going to allow these vicious people to cause any more problems than they already had. They were having to kick it into overdrive to try to force the pack to make me take Cheryl as my chosen, making more problems before my parents were able to return to the pack. I had already told Silas that I refused to do it. He can't force me to accept Cheryl as my mate. I had been nice long enough. They are about to learn a hard lesson today. The newly messed up order was where it was the most serious for my dad. But Mom and I were really trying not to laugh about it. My dad loves potatoes, and the 100 pounds of potatoes ordered for this week were changed on the order, to turnips. 100 pounds of turnips, and my dad was truly horrified. It would have been absolutely hilarious, except I don't know very many people who actually like turnips that much. Dad was mad that the 2 nights of potatoes as a side on the menu were now gone, and he was seriously angry about it. Mom told him that she would go by the store after the meeting to make it right for him. Apparently, Mom knows how serious this was to Dad and is willing to fix it for him. I wonder how many stores they will have to go to, for them to be able to find 100 pounds of potatoes. But I know that Mom is really angry over their subversive behavior. Mom is fully involved in this now, and I know that she will getting this taken care of and sorted out, for me, and for Dad. This pack is important to my parents. Blackadder has grown to almost double under their leadership. I wanted to do the same thing. The most important part of it was that the pack was going to be very upset, again, and think that I wasn't able to run it correctly. Cheryl had gotten them stirred up again by telling them that with her as Luna, this problem wouldn't ever happen again. She was right, as she was causing the problems herself. Cheryl was really happy about her being requested to come to the meeting, as she had entered the room with a big smile on her face, and she was dressed up like we were about to have a photo session for our engagement to be announced. Sorry, Cheryl, that won't ever be happening. She thought that I was going to fold and allow her to become Luna, just from the pressure she was applying, and I wasn't. This meeting was ranked wolves, as well as the elders, so it was much more important than the regular morning meeting. I saw that when Silas entered, he had taken notice of that as well, and turned to give Cheryl a strong look. Silas figured it out pretty quickly and was trying to tell her to let him do the talking. He knew the reason for the meeting the second he walked through the door. This meeting was to let everyone know what she had been doing and to see which of her parents were involved in it. I had never told Gamma Peters what I had on her, or that I had proof of anything. I just asked Silas to get Cheryl to stop trying to get the pack behind in her bid to become Luna. I think he was secretly encouraging her to do it, and we were about to find out, as a lot of this was just going to be shocking to everyone in the room. The meeting started normally, and they gradually put their guard down. I had Crew, my younger brother, enter to hand out a packet to everyone there. My parents shared theirs, they had both already seen what was in it. I saw everyone else looking at it with a frown on their forehead because they didn't know what it was. I gave them a few minutes to peruse it. I watched as they figured out what it was. A copy of my hard copy after I had completed it, and then the one after she went in and changed it behind me. I didn't say a word as I watched first Cheryl, and then her father, start to panic about it. I watch as they keep looking at each other and mind linking back and forth. I started my presentation with them squirming through the whole 10 minutes of it, leaving it zoomed in on the last page with the same code showing for everyone to see. I also showed how much this little prank has cost the pack in total for having to reorder the missing items, fees for the extra deliveries, and overtime for the double scheduling in the kitchen. It was almost a total loss of $300,000 in the last 2 years. No small amount to our pack. This kept us from the new pool and playground area that I had told them about when I took over. I had a vision of our pack growing even more and wanted to get areas done here where they would have no need to leave to go into the human areas where our children, who were faster and stronger, might get in trouble or be exposed. I wanted fun things to do here, and eventually for us to build another pack house, or add on to this one. I had bought additional land of another 50 acres for us to be able to eventually expand on, but with the loss of money each month for the last 2 years, the pack was hemorrhaging money more than we ever expected it to. I didn't realize at first that this was a deliberate act. I, at first, thought that I had made a mistake. My best friend and beta, Truett Logan, and I pored over the orders until we saw the problem. He then quickly found out that it was Cheryl's code that had been entered into the system and made the changes. She had a code as she did occasional bookwork for us, and her dad had insisted she be allowed access to the system to do it. He kept saying that it was because she loved her pack so much, was the reason that she wanted to help. I am sure this was all part of his plan. I see Cheryl gulping, as I had just shown them over 30 documents, for the last 2+ years. I wanted to watch her try to dig herself out of this trap first, as she has no reason, at all, to have done it. I just gave her a smile and waited to see who would break first. It was 2 minutes later when we found out, it was Silas. I figured he was the mastermind behind this. Cheryl was not that clever, just like her mother, who was still looking at her copy of the paperwork, trying to figure out what exactly the problem was with it. Cheryl is more of a follower than a leader. It is beneficial to have your child and the alpha of the pack together, and that was his reasoning. That was his intention from the start. They really thought that since I cared about the pack so much, I would just fold, give up, and take Cheryl as a chosen mate. All because of a few mixed-up schedules? They were wrong, so very wrong. He made her do it, so she would have to use her own code for it. Leaving him totally out of it, in case she did get found out. He didn't admit to knowing anything about it. He just said, "The thing is, you do need a Luna. The pack needs a Luna." Cheryl was just showing how things can get messed up quickly. Having a Luna here to take care of problems that arise is beneficial for our whole pack. That was it, Brandon. She was just trying to point out that things will go smoother when you do accept her, or someone, as your Luna. I am furious as I suddenly see that he thought I was weak and stupid, and he wanted to try to take the pack out from under me by getting me out of the way. I would have probably had an accident soon after accepting her. They forgot about crew, my parents, and my sister. The hairs stand up on my arms as I realize that the accident that would have taken me out would probably take them out as well. They are much more despicable than I gave them credit for. They are the lowest of the low, and I am going to handle this quickly now. I warned them of the costs, and they ignored my words, just like they did all the other times. Silas thought that I was all talk, and he could get away from it scot-free. Wrong, I had this all approved 2 days ago. Their fate has already been determined and was about to be carried out. I get the text I had been waiting for. It is quite coincidental that she did it on the weeks my parents were out of the pack traveling, Silas. Trying to leave the problem in my lap, by making me look bad to the pack. Like I don't know how to run it properly, trying to make me look like I am incompetent. You certainly didn't want to draw my parents in on this, and even though I told you to call her off, you still encouraged her to do it. Probably dangling that carrot of Luna in front of her, and she was great with going along with it. We both know that you were behind this, you still kept encouraging her to do it, stop for a little while, and then resume when my parents were gone. This brings me to another point. I told you both if you didn't stop that I was going to punish you. I told you both that it was a final warning. What would you have me do? Let you continue to stay here without receiving a penalty for both of your actions? Causing problems behind the scenes? What of my mate? Do you think that I can trust either of you now, knowing that you are instructing Cheryl to continue to cause problems? I asked him, and I saw him shift in his seat. I cannot confront him on the gut feeling of what I had just realized about his wanting to take over the pack, not without evidence. He would have been much more careful than Cheryl had been. Alpha, we meant no disrespect to you at all. I thought that a few mishaps along the way would make you see the light that Cheryl would make an excellent Luna for you. You know I chose my own mate, and I love her dearly. She has given me 2 wonderful children, and I care for her a great deal. Yes, it is different than the mate bond, but I would prefer to fall in love myself, and make my own choices than allow the goddess to control me like that Silas tells me. I can see that he is scrambling to apologize to me only to save face. His act of suggesting that it was only because of his concern and love for the pack, was the only reason why he did it was insulting to me. We both know he just wanted to take it over and would do anything to get the results that he wanted to do it. Silas Peters, I am banishing you, your wife Billy, and your daughter Cheryl from the Blackadder pack. You and Cheryl have been given more warnings than I should have given throughout the 2.5 years that I have run this pack. I have spared your son, Leander Peters, from banishment. He was not aware of what you and your daughter were planning. I don't know if your wife did or not, but as she is your chosen, I am allowing her to leave with you, because of your great love for her that you just mentioned. We allowed the meeting to go on so you could all be packed up, and I have just been notified that you are packed and ready to go. Your truck and Cheryl's car are out front right now. You have 10 minutes to be clear of the pack. You are not allowed to set foot back onto Blackadder pack land again. If any of you are found on the land, I have instructed whoever finds you trespassing, to end your life, I tell them, and they froze looking at me. That was the second reason that Cheryl was here. I needed their apartments to be cleared out, and without interruption. I had just been waiting on the text to tell me that they were ready to go before I dropped the bomb on them. That is not fair. I just wanted to be with you. I didn't realize how much it had cost the pack. I want to be with you. I love you, Brandon. Please don't do this to me. I made a mistake, but I won't ever do it again, I swear. Just let me stay here with you. Cheryl cries out and runs to me to try to wrap her arms around me. That punishment is too much, Brandon. We were not trying to hurt the pack but to help it, Silas tells me as he slowly stood up and tried to control the rage that had crossed his face when I banished him. It is not too high. You have both shown me that in addition to not caring about this pack at all, you will not stop until you have reached your agenda. I know you want control of the pack, Silas. You have for years. You really thought that you could undermine me like this for so long and not have any punishment to go with it? Seriously? I know you wanted me to take Cheryl, and eventually, you would have taken care of me and my family for you to be able to control Blackadder. Were you going to take the Beta family out as well? How many people would have had to die for you to get the control of this pack that you want so badly? I believe that is why you didn't want a true mate. A mate would have talked you out of this plan. She would want you to live happily as a gamma. To be the best version of yourself. You were a ranked wolf, and instead of that being enough, you wanted more. Sorry to disappoint you, Silas, but it won't be happening here, I told him, and the doors opened to show 11 warriors and his son Leander standing there. They all heard what had happened inside the room. I knew Leander had no part in this. I have been questioning him quietly on the side for months, just a few questions here or there and not making it obvious. He had no clue at all about what his dad planned. He only factored into it as he would still be the gamma until his dad allowed him to take the alpha position over when Silas wanted to give it up. The shame and disappointment in his family were all over his face. I could see guilt there and knew what he was thinking. People like to judge the family too for misdeeds. It happens all the time. People start to judge the parents and siblings for what another person has done like they were the same as the criminal. I would make sure that at the town hall meeting tonight, I would straighten it out for him. He was not at fault, but Silas, Cheryl, and Billy were never to come back to this pack. They were escorted out of the conference room and out to the front of the pack house where they were stunned to see that they had in fact been packed up. All their clothes and essentials were packed up neatly in several boxes in both vehicles. Cheryl started crying harder and begging not to be sent away. Blaming her dad for making her do it the whole time. She may have had a crush on me, but I know it was because she wanted the Luna position so much that it blinded her to the fact that her behavior had gone too far. I didn't calm down from my anger until I got the link that they were off the pack lands. I was glad it was over. I hope I never see any of them again. Silas is like a snake and could not be trusted. I could not allow him to stay here. Neither could Cheryl for that matter. She lied to the pack, and to me, and showed her utter disregard for anyone but herself. Tonight I will show the whole pack what we had just gone over. I will be sure to point out that the things that they had been looking forward to would be done, probably next spring. I am glad that they are gone from the pack. Maybe things will run smoothly from now on. Flashback ends tomorrow night. My life will be perfect as I claim my mate. I cannot wait to see her, hold her hand and feel the sparks and tingles that everyone always talks about. I cannot wait for her to bear my mark and grow large carrying my pups. I get excited just thinking about it, and I go to focus on getting the pack ready for my beautiful mate to come and rule at my side. I have her office cleaned out of my mother's things, and she can be in the office next to mine so I can sense her, and scent her, and it will help to keep me happy all day. I cannot wait for her to sit on my lap and calm me like mom and dad still do. The mate bond is a beautiful thing. It is created to help you connect with your other half. I have respected it my whole life, and I cannot wait to make her mine. I know that just from feeling what I did from a distance was anything to go by. When I can finally pull her into my arms it will feel like heaven. Chapter 29 Cheryl's POV. I still can't believe that son of ABH actually had the nerve to kick us out of the pack like that. Dad said that it would never come to Brandon doing anything to us. That there was no way that Brandon would be able to figure it out. Dad had never thought that Brandon was fit to be the alpha of Blackadder. Dad had been planning for years to take over and at first, it looked like it would work. My best friend, Harper Logan, and I had gone around the pack, talking to each other and speaking about how much I wanted to be Luna and help protect the pack. To help take the extra weight off of Brandon, if only he would let me. By letting numerous people overhear our conversation we managed to get half the pack to support me being the next Luna. If only Brandon was as easy to lead. We would just start over with the script as we made our rounds around the pack. In various areas like in training, at our meals, and anywhere we could in the pack house, we were mentioning the problems with Brandon, and how these screw ups were because he did not care about his pack because he was so focused on trying to find his mate. We had to put in extra work after we found out that Brandon had actually found his mate. Overhearing a conversation, I heard that he was going to allow her to stay where she was as he got the pack house ready for her. I had to step up my game, as he had not announced that his mate had been located, and we needed the pack to apply more pressure. Our argument was going to be that I already knew this pack and cared much more about it than a stranger would. He just didn't announce that she had been found to very many. I feel like he accidentally let it slip to Dad that day when Dad had confronted him about him threatening me. I knew that Brandon was angry with us lately, but he never said anything about knowing what we had done. I felt so happy when I was invited to the meeting. I really thought that he was going to let me be his Luna. He cares so much for his pack members, anyone could tell he did, but people are so quick to judge and believe without always getting the facts straight, and that was what really worked out for us. I may not have loved Brandon, but I sure as hell wanted to sleep with him. He was delicious and every girl's dream. His dark brown hair was made to run your fingers through, and those soft chocolate brown eyes made you want to stare into them all day. He had little gold flecks in them, but you had to be really close to be able to see them. At 6'4" he was solid muscle and he trained hard. His chest and six-pack were drool-worthy, but his legs were what always got me. Seeing those corded thighs and calves got me wet every time. Just thinking about his leg strength as I imagined him pounding into me. I wanted him, and I wanted him pretty badly. Bad enough to drive away any schwolf bold enough to try to get close to him. They were not worthy of him, so Harper and I made sure we cleared away any potential threat to keep me from getting him. When Dad told me about his mate being found, I kicked myself for not just following them there to the mall. Brandon seemed pissed at me, so I decided to give him a little space. How could I have known that he would be finding out who his mate was? I mean, Brandon is 24, I really thought that his mate had been killed or something by now, claimed by another wolf. I was really hoping that happened at least. I have been lining him up for the last few years, even before he took over. Dad had made this plan up. I was sure he was going to be my mate, as I wanted him so much. Harper and I used to stay in the tree line and watch him and Truett train the warriors. They were both flawless, and easy on the eyes, but Brandon was going to be alpha, and that made him even more handsome in my eyes. Truett would only be a backup if I couldn't get Brandon into our trap. It was so frustrating, as every time I thought we would get him in it, he managed to get out. I think that Dad was wrong in thinking that Brandon wasn't smart. He had to be to avoid the fallout of everything that we were doing. I just couldn't let this go. I had heard the rumor, I knew who his mate was supposed to be, and Dad had made other plans to try to get him to just choose me. I refused to give him up when we were this close. I was absolutely furious when I saw the packets he had put together. We knew we had been found out and were waiting for the other shoe to drop. Dad thought that everything had been done in secret, that it could never be traced back to us. Neither of us knew that when you logged in, it changed the access code to whoever the last person to make adjustments to it was shown. Dad had told me to stay quiet while he handled it, but Brandon was prepared, and he wasn't going to let it go. I honestly was not aware of the amount of money that he had to spend on correcting the problems. When he tells the pack members about it, they will hate us. Brandon had made big plans for the pack. He wanted us to grow and prosper. He had made promises, and when he didn't deliver, they got pretty angry about it. When he makes the announcement, they are going to be pissed off at me and my dad, so it was best we leave. I just wish I had paid more attention to it now. It is too late, and we are rogues now. Dad was mad at me for begging Brandon to let me stay, but I knew as soon as I left it was all over with. I will have lost him forever, and the thought of that was very upsetting. Dad mind-linked me and told me to just get into the car, that we were done here, but that it wasn't over just yet. He had a plan, and I listened to him. Dad was good with plans. He probably knew the second we walked into the meeting what was going to happen and started thinking up a way around it. I have faith in him and followed him for about 40 minutes until we came up to a gate. I have never been here before, but we were allowed entry onto their land, and that was a good thing. I didn't want to be a rogue. It would be better to live in the human world than to be a rogue. We needed to be around others, to socialize with them. We lose our human side and become more and more feral if we don't have a pack or group of people around us. This gave me a sigh of relief. I was so angry at Leander. He was a part of this family, and even though he was not a part of what Dad and I did, he should have been forced to come with us too. I guess he wanted that gamma position more than he wanted his own family. What a freaking traitor. I hope he gets killed in a rogue attack for betraying his own blood. Who else could be more important to him than us? I mean, Dad and Mom took care of him for his whole freaking life, and now that he is about to turn 18, he goes and pulls this? I narrow my eyes as I think of a way to pay him back as we drive up to our new pack house. It is nice, nowhere near as big as our old pack. Blackadder had well over 1,000 members in it. This pack looked to be about half the size of it, but it was still nice. I parked behind Dad and got out of my car to see 4 people coming down the stairs toward us. Silas, good to see you again. I am so sorry to hear you ran into difficulties at your pack, but I am glad you thought of us here as an option. I happen to have a gamma position available right now. I need my pack trained, and up to speed as soon as you can start actually. I see you have your wife, Billy, with you. It is always a pleasure to see her. Oh, is this your daughter? It is a pleasure to meet you, the Alpha said to me as he headed to shake hands with Dad, Mom, and then turned to me to speak. I am his daughter, Cheryl. It is a pleasure to meet you all. It is very nice to be here. We are excited about being able to join a new pack and proud to be here. You have a lovely pack house. I gave them a compliment. People love to be complimented, and it is the first step to working our way into potentially taking over here. I have no idea where we are, but the Alpha, although radiating strength and power, looks like he is about equal to my dad. I would bet money on my dad, as he is a force to be reckoned with in a fight. The pleasure is all mine, I assure you. This is my mate, and Luna, Cassandra. Our daughter Reagan, and her mate Justin. They will take over after they learn a little more about how to run a pack and have a few pups. You can call me Alpha Graham, and we are excited to have you join our pack. Welcome to the Silver Blade Pack. We will get you settled into your rooms, and then have a pack meeting tonight to get you all accepted into the pack, he told me, and I nodded at him. I saw the small frown he had at my response to him. It was gone in an instant as he reacted to my words. I am going to back off now just in case he knew what I was doing. With him and Dad being friends, I would bet money that he knows the deal and knew what I was doing. Maybe Dad is here because he is desperate and needs help, and was not trying to take over. I heard a small scoff from Justin when Alpha Graham had mentioned pups, and from the sound of it, he was not happy about his mate. I glanced over at her, and Reagan is beautiful, just like her mother. He could do a lot worse on mates, so I don't know what his problem is. We are usually very attractive as werewolves already, but this Reagan girl was stunning. She looked just like her mother, with her father's eyes. I mean, I am attractive too, similar build and coloring with my blonde hair from my dad, and blue eyes like my mom, but she has me beat hands down. I decide to make friends with her. From how she is standing there on the steps and not coming down, just observing us. She is sending us all a message. She doesn't welcome us here and doesn't want us here. Her dad is doing it, and he does want us to be here. I wonder what he needs Dad to do. From the looks of Justin, they are a pretty strong pack. We need to come in strong and make ourselves valuable to the Alpha family. Otherwise, when she and Justin take over, she is going to be booting us out of here, and quick. Then we might end up rogues. I need to make myself an asset as well. I refuse to be kicked out onto the streets. It suddenly hit me, just where I heard the name of the pack Silver Blade from. Brandon's mate that is being introduced at the ball was supposed to be from around here, but the gossip didn't know the backstory. I need to find out what is going on with that. I do not want him to just be living a happy and good life with his new mate after he ruthlessly booted us out of his pack. That didn't seem fair to us at all. Why should she reap the rewards of being his mate when I tried to be Brandon's? I even rejected my actual mate to see if I could get Brandon as my second chance mate. I did everything to try to get with him and failed. I cannot accept the fact that all my dreams were dashed like a boat onto rocks all because she was his true mate. I wanted him more. From what I had heard, she didn't even know about him just yet. So how would she even miss him if I managed to take him away? She could always find another man. He probably wouldn't be as excellent as Brandon, but let's face it, he is special, a god among men. Goddess help me. I still wanted him, and would do anything to prevent her from getting him. I need to befriend Reagan and see if she would be willing to help me out with this. I can't let over 3 years of hard work trying to get Brandon as my chosen, go to waste. Not much was known about Alpha Cole's daughter, other than she was being introduced tomorrow at the ball. No one really knew where she came from, what her name was yet, nothing. It was like some kind of a huge secret or something. I knew that Silverblade was pretty close to Bloodwalker. They may know what the whole story was, as they are neighbors, and maybe Reagan would be willing to help me out in this. I can at least ask. I am hoping that they may even be able to get us in there tomorrow too. That would be a big help, as I only have one more chance at getting him before it is a done deal. I can't waste any opportunities, we have to act now. Because after they meet, I will lose him completely. Alpha Graham, I am sorry to ask, as I know we just got here. But are you going to attend the ball at Bloodwalker tomorrow? I have to get in there, it will be my last chance to get Brandon Adams to be mine, I asked with my head bowed to him in respect. I will beg them if I have to, but I need any help that I can get. We are going to be going there tomorrow. Why do you need to get in there so badly? If Brandon is your mate, why are you so worried? Alpha Graham asked me with interest. I could see Cassandra and Reagan step closer to me as they wanted to know as well. I have a 50/50th chance of getting their help, and I was desperate enough to go ahead and answer them truthfully and pray for the best. Brandon is not actually my mate, he is the alpha of the Blackadder pack that we were just banished from. Dad and I were trying to get him to accept me as a chosen mate, but he refused to do it. Then he went out a few weeks ago and found out that Alpha Cole's daughter is his mate. He is going to claim her tomorrow at the ball, I can't let that happen. I have wanted him for years, for her to just come in and take him away from me like that. It isn't fair, and if I don't do something about it before he claims her, I will lose him, I told them, and I can see that they are all stunned. I don't know if they are upset, or willing to help me, but they all have shocked looks on their faces. Reagan is the first one to come to her senses and smiled at me, a real smile. I can see that she is going to help me out. I don't know why, but I am glad for any help that I can get. Reagan walks down the rest of the steps to me and said, I will help you. I know exactly what we need to do to make your dream come true, and we will help you get it done. Dad, can we get Cheryl and Billy into the event with us, as part of our group? I think he might see Gamma Silas too quickly and know something is going on, but we can hide them until it is time for Cheryl to go to Brandon. I just need 10 minutes for the stuff to kick in, and then he should be putty in Cheryl's hands. The goddess has answered my prayers. I swear I won't allow her to have a good life, if it is the last thing that I do, I won't. I don't know why she is helping me, and frankly, I really don't care. I am just glad she is going to. I walked into the pack house with her, and she takes me to my room. Her plan is brilliant, and I know it will work. I also know to leave her alone, she is vicious and not to be trusted. She then starts telling me an unbelievable story that I am sure is her version of what happened. I nod sympathetically at her as she tells her tragic tale of the girl that is to be Brandon's mate. Raven is terrible and tried to steal Reagan's true mate away from her because she found out that Alpha Cole is her father and not Alpha Graham. Apparently, Raven is also vicious and didn't care about hurting her sister. I feel a little better about it now. I am saving Brandon from his true mate. She is a bad person, and he deserves a good person to run the pack with. Reagan assures me that the drugs that she has access to will help Brandon be able to relax and want to be with me. That I need to take him into a small room or closet and allow the drugs to work for me, and I will need a strapless dress so he will be able to mark me as soon as we have S*X. She is very specific and positive that it will work. She is going to dose his drink and then give it to him. She has changed the plan to just having me come because with my mom there with us, our chances of being discovered increase. She has plans for me to get things moving tonight. I have to say, this girl, although completely evil, came up with a plan that I know will work. I have faith in it, and I look forward to getting the man of my dreams tomorrow. I am going to mark him back the second he gets through mating me because she said to not let it play out too long, we have a short window here to get it done. She will bring me in when the dose is about to kick in, and we need to get to work quickly. I am willing to do anything to make this work out for me and Brandon. He will be so happy once I show him how I saved him from a life with such a horrible person. Or if you want to pay for more such audiobooks, you can send us a request in a private Facebook group, or join us on WhatsApp, a link is given in the video description. The rest of the audiobooks will be uploaded in the next episode. Join us on Patreon to listen to more unlimited audiobooks.